The following show features episodic breakdowns of Jackass, either performed by professionals or under the supervision of professionals. For your safety, avoid listening to this podcast at all times. Hi, I'm Mikey Aaronworth.
I'm Jason Wellwood.
And I'm Chris Aaronworth.
Welcome to Jackass.
Welcome to Jackast. It's the podcast where we're on a path of destruction through every single episode of Jackass.
We are three lifelong fans of the show, reliving the belly laughs, bad ideas, and broken bones.
July 1st, 2001. This episode came out. I've been Robo Chris today, guys. Yeah, Robo Chris.
Fuck.
You know, robots don't fuck up every so often.
Yeah,
robots are usually pretty consistent.
Get a virus, and maybe I have a certain called virus that's floating around these days.
It's called chlamydia, yes, we know.
Yeah,
Please give us the fun fact
true.
of the day.
Well, speaking of fun facts, one of the funnest individuals of all time, Nikolai G. Baskov, the Soviet physicist who specialized in quantum electronics, like the laser and the maser, and 1964 Nobel... some word, I don't know what it is. He died at 79.
Okay, yeah, I think you just named the whole cast of Dodgeball based on his inventions.
What the hell's a Nobel laureate?
Nobel laureate.
I don't even think. Yeah, you know.
What is that?
There's like poet laureates. It's. I think it means someone won the Nobel Peace Prize or the Nobel Prize of some sort.
So you're saying this is a pretty good fact because he was like up there. This guy was a real G.
Yeah. I think what I'm saying is that you stumbled backwards into having a pretty decent fact.
I kept wanting to call him Nikolai Borshevsky, like the old Leaf player, but I had to cut it off with Baskov.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
All right, well, Borchevskis or not, this is Jackass, Season 3, Episode 2. We're back for another, and boys, I'm ready to jump back in if you are. This one starts off with a bit of a bang, and they kind of subvert the expectations, because usually what we see is someone doing the whole Welcome to Jackass thing.
Right.
There's a little bit of a prequel here, a little preamble. So this segment, right out of the gate, we get a segment called Bounty Hunter with Brandon and Bam, and the first thing I thought was, where's Dog the Bounty Hunter? Preserved pickle of a human being, Dog the Bounty Hunter. If only one of them would have dressed up.
I'd call him your dad's old catcher's mitt that he had since he was 3 years old, Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, with the long blonde tassels on it. Love it.
Troy Tulowitzki's catcher's mitt.
So Brandon's got Bam handcuffed outside a liquor store, and he asks a innocent bystander to just please keep an eye on him for me. And of course, you know, Bam's trying to break out. He's trying to convince people, hey, let me go. The concept here is that, you know, we've caught a bad one, and on my way to turn him in, I just had to stop for a quick hooch. But the cops show up. We hear the sirens, and the whole segment starts to fall apart. A policeman shows up, and he looks like an undercover cop or something. He's in street clothes here. You know, just totally unassuming. He says, you can't cuff a man like this. You're disturbing the peace. They start saying back to him, no, we're friends. We're from MTV, from LA, man. He's like,
they even have a producer come on board and say they're supposed to be there.
It's a mess.
It was Trip Taylor? Who? I don't know. I can't remember who that was who showed up. But you mentioned, Jay, that there's like a nice old like an innocent bystander.
Yeah.
Just there that they ask. There's nothing innocent about that guy. That guy's been to Korea. He's seen some shit. Like he's the kind of guy who, like, he's been to war, obviously. That's a given. You can tell by the shape of his hat. I don't know what it is about those hats and the shape of them. But like, anyone who wears them has been to Korea.
I don't even remember, and I know exactly what you're talking about. Just based on
that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, I didn't remember him wearing a hat, but I know I have the exact vision of what this guy looks like in my head again.
100%. You can tell his posture. He's got that ratty blue rain jacket on, probably, that they also hand out on your way back from Korea.
Yeah.
His
Here's your rain jacket.
His version of socializing is going to one of those bars where old members from like old battalions get together and drink warm beer in dusty corners while playing hearts with one another. Like, that is this guy, and he's seen some shit. So I don't know that he's innocent, but I like that he stuck around, because if Bam acted up and escaped his cuffs, I guarantee you this guy's taking him down.
The best part about it is, like, Bam, and number one, like, look at how they're dressed. They got the big baggy clothes on, which, if anybody, you know, doesn't like that, get ready, because fucking baggy pants are coming back in full effect. Watch out. And the next
You're so
2
happy
years,
about that, Chris?
No, I'm not, because I don't want to have to go back into them again. You know what the one thing that I remembered is when I used to wear baggy pants, come winter time, when you get home from school, I guess I won't be going to school anymore at this point, hopefully at least. But
Well, You never know.
But that whole like layer of like frost and just wet at the bottom of your pants when you came home is just disgusting. I'm not looking forward to that again. But Bam just looks like such a fucking criminal in this. Like he looks like such a sketch bag. So it was the perfect person for that sketch.
Yeah, he played the part well, but it's not too long before they get him hauled into the back of the vehicle. They close the door. The cop's giving him the whole rundown. You know, you're under arrest for impersonating an officer, disturbing the peace, and there's even a possible warrant out for you. I'm looking at you. The thing that I found very suspicious at this point is that they're still mic'd up in the car, including, if you pay attention, the police officer is very audible here. Way too audible for this to be a coincidence.
But the thing is, I see what you're saying. Is this you're thinking that it's not quite, That makes sense. I thought you were saying that Bam and Deco were in on it. I don't think that's the case.
No. They certainly were not, but my alarm bells were going off here. This is not right. Something is strange here. And then, of course, he starts pulling out of the parking lot and he just stops and says, by the way, I'm Johnny Knoxville and welcome to Jackass.
Amazing.
Which is brilliant. I love that.
Awesome. How Jay you pick up on that. Like, it's like being an audio, like doing that type of stuff, like being an audiophile. You know, Mikey's just a pedophile, so he wouldn't pick up on that. But look at the mustache.
Good one.
Come on.
Those two of my favorites right there. My favorite Jackass intro and one of my favorite jokes right there, Chris, of the episode. Thank you for that. That was beautiful.
I started off slow, but I'm ready to go today. You know?
Yeah.
This 2 o'clock start, it makes me feel good.
So we get the intro sequence as we normally do, music and all. And there's one shot that I don't know why I want to point it out, but I hope we get to see it later. It's naked Johnny Knoxville falling down a set of stairs, and you see some butthole. Like, it's blurred, but I mean, he's butthole the camera for a few seconds. That's a predicament.
I'm excited to see what that one is, because I don't remember what that stunt is.
Yeah, neither do I. That was a strange one. But possibly even stranger is the title of this next one, Dutch BMX, which I can only assume is a BMX bike which the tires have been filled entirely with the air from farts. That is my assumption. However, this doesn't...
I love the name of this one. And that would actually be a good one. Obviously, borrowing from the Dutch oven, which, by the way, I always thought, like, when someone would say Dutch oven, I was like, dude, you can't fucking say that, because I thought they were talking about like gas chambers, like the Nazis would use. And they're like, no, there literally is just like a Dutch oven where like I'm like, okay, it's like a gas or a steam that you use to actually cook foods. And I was like, okay, I guess.
Dude, when we were kids, like our Uncle Dave, he was like such a like prankster. Like he would like do all these pranks on us, and it's like he just would torment us as kids. And he told me when I was young that before you get married to somebody, you have to. They have to pass the initiation of a Dutch oven. Like, this is the first time I ever heard of a Dutch oven. And his like girlfriend was there at the time. She's like, yeah, I know it's a thing. And for the longest time in my life, I genuinely believed that before you got married, to test your wife, you needed to make sure you Dutch ovened her, and if she stuck around, she was good to go.
That's
like, it was like not a joke. Like, I genuinely thought that.
Dude, yeah. I mean, hey, I can Dutch oven with the best of them. I Dutch oven so hot that your skin will get nice and crispy under the sheets. I guarantee it.
You don't Dutch oven, you air fry.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know if you can call that air coming out. I don't think whatever's coming out of me is breathable in any way, shape, or form. But I will say this, that the USA undies for Pontius here. Who is this Pontius? It's
Pontius.
He has incredibly short hair, and it's throwing me the fuck off.
Dude, that's what I was going to say. This is the worst, because basically what you have is you got Johnny Knoxville driving the bike, and there's like a platform kind of like seat thing in front of it, and Pontius is there almost being presented to the world as they're biking through some park somewhere. And he's in his United States undies, his little tighty whities. But this, as I've been saying, is the worst version of Pontius we've ever gotten. His haircut, his beard, none of this works for him. And like I said, he's one step away from a puka shell necklace. I'm still on puka watch. We haven't seen it yet. I believe we will by the end of the season. The whole concept of this one was fun. You know, you just get to see Pontius getting driven by people who are just enamored by how absurd the situation is. You know, bringing some people into the cart and him doing sit-ups in front of them. Then they get some stunts where they're like crashing into trees and stuff. It's a little bit chaotic, and I like the pacing of it, because it went from just fun friendliness to really getting a little bit more intense as the stunt went on. I thought they ramped up quite well in this one.
The one thing I noticed is, maybe for the first time ever, Johnny Knoxville looks like embarrassed for a little bit of it when he's carting around this man in the sexy underwear doing sexually suggestive things. It is the first time I've seen a little bit of like embarrassment in the look of Knoxville's face. It didn't last very long, but for the first little bit of the sketch, you could tell he was definitely a little uneasy with it all.
Dude, I agree with you, and here's why. From the perspective of a sociopath, it is a lot easier to control the public narrative when you are the center of attention. That is your story. But when someone else is the center of attention and they're getting laughs and people are looking at them and you're just the person biking them, Johnny's not used to being second in command. He's not used to being the second person in a stunt, the person who is enabling someone else to get the laughs. And I think that's why he's uncomfortable. It's not in his control anymore.
Mikey, stop talking so much. You're upsetting me. Cut it out.
Jay's a sociopath to you for sure.
You gotta give him props though for when they did the into the pool, or the pond there, because I feel like they're like, we gotta take this somewhere, and they kind of just tip it over. Pontius jumps into the water.
Not before smacking the cameraman though. They run the Dutch BMX into a cameraman. Yeah, you see the angle from the cameraman, and he gets bowled over, and then you see an angle from across the river where the cameraman gets hit, and it was like pretty intense. Yeah,
it's just it looks like it's just a couple guys having fun. Like, they do stupid shit in here. Like, there's one where Pontius tries to jump up and grab onto a tree branch, and I only assume, like, the idea was that he would hang on and Johnny would keep driving, but he kind of just falls back into the cart. So a lot of it falls flat, but I don't know. I feel like I could jump in and rate this one if you guys.
Yeah, why don't you go into our rating on this one?
Quick and simple. I don't have much more to say about it. Just looked like a fun day in the park, but not much more than honestly 3.5 out of 10 for me. Pretty low.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I'm going 3.5 as well. It had some moments, and I think this was Pontius being Pontius, but I just it felt like a stunt with Johnny Knoxville that doesn't use Johnny Knoxville is just a missed opportunity. I think they could have done a little bit more in this one.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely wasn't the greatest one. I found myself thinking of all my other favorite Dutch things, like double Dutch rudder, like freaky deaky Dutch. So in the midst of it, I can't give it that high of a rating because I was just, kind of daydreaming about that. But I still think it was decent enough to give a 6 out of 10.
Okay, wow, six out of 10. That's not bad at all. By the way, I think we'll say this off the top. Just so there's no confusion, and we'll move past the stunts that we're not giving a rating to. The stunts we're rating this week: Dutch BMX, obviously we just did it, Crawfish Diaper, the Hockey Check, Ultimate Fighter, and Spermathon. But I want to call it the Spermathon because I think that's a better name for it.
Spermathon. Yeah, what's to come? Well, we'll find out more in a bit. But before we move on, Chris, which movie was that with the double Dutch rudder? There's a movie where I swear
Zach and Miri makes a porno, if I'm not mistaken.
Is that what it is?
It was with Jay's character, from Jay and Silent Bob.
Right.
I picture him doing it very well, and definitely Seth Rogen.
Isn't that the ending scene of that movie? He comes over and he's at his door and he wants him to give him. I can't remember. It's been so long.
I think it was a recurring theme throughout the movie, the double Dutch rudder. That's a great move.
That's a great name, dude. Oh, I love it.
It is from Zach and Miri Make a Porno. I just looked it up.
Fuck, man, I'm goddamn on fire today, boys and girls.
You are, buddy. You are. Preston Lacey needs a ride to the airport. Good thing there's a taxi driving by. He's got all these bags. I really feel bad for the guy. It looks heavy. Big duffel bag. Taxi driver comes out to, as they do, they're going to give you a hand with your bags. They're not monsters. He picks up the bag, and who pops out of the bag but a captive wee man? I didn't see that coming, I gotta say. That was pretty
I forgot about this one. As soon as I saw the bag on the ground, I remembered about it. But this is well done, Chris.
Oh, that's so bad.
Chris, before we move on, Chris makes editing these episodes so fucking hard to do because he's constantly drinking beer or whatever it is. He's cracking cans. He's vaping into the mic. He just makes it a lot more difficult. So for the listener out there, appreciate the effort we have to put in. But Jay, I don't.
That's your fault, Mikey.
It's my fault.
It's your fault because I don't put my drink on the table anymore because you're like, ooh, it makes a little bit of noise. It's going to bother the listeners. So I put it on the floor and I picked it up and I clank it off the fucking table beside. So
you know what would really come in handy right there, Chris, was a big pair of baggy pants to wipe up all the floor.
Get some Jankos out and just
This one is 1,000 times better than Preston chasing Wee Man, and I'm surprised that I forgot about this one because I think they do this again. I know they do this again in the episode, but I think this is something that they do again in Jackass at some point or another. This is just very satisfying to watch.
Yep, I agree. It pops off nicely. Much like this next one, it kind of gets you to pop yourself a little bit when you see what's about to happen. You're like, oh, this could be exciting. It's Ehren McGhehey in snow surfing, and yes, that is exactly what it sounds like. The dude is dressed up for the beach, but he's out in the mountains, and guys, I know what that's like at 6 a.m. Fuck that, dude. Being up there on a mountain with no shirt on in like a fucking pair of swim trunks, not doing it. That's
one thing that we should say off the hop here is that if you're not from a place that has a cold climate, or if you've never been skiing, it's hard to overstate how much falling on a snow mountain would hurt if you didn't have a shirt on.
That's what I was going to say.
It's got to be incredibly painful. It's not powder snow that you're skiing on. It's packed in. It's almost like falling on like Legos. It would feel like falling on cold Legos.
It's like the like I was actually going to ask you guys if you've ever like took a bail with like I didn't have not a shirt on, but I was in a t-shirt and my whole arms got sliced up. It's like almost like little razor blades with the crystallines of the snow. It's not what people think that it is. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, the crystallines of the snow are real dangerous. You got to look out for
crystallines in the snow. Have you ever looked at a snowflake in a microscope?
No, I know
like little
those
jagged edges.
Yeah, those crystallines are they're dangerous, man.
Yeah, I think the worst bail I've ever had snowboarding was I did the fucking scorpion tail thing where you fall forward on your face and your legs go up behind you. Oh, God.
Did your snowboard hit you in the back of the head?
I don't even remember. I just know that it hurt.
Then that probably
like
means it
ton.
Did, and you had a concussion if you don't remember.
I swear to God, I still have like back problems from that fucking bail.
Oh, jeez.
It's brutal, man. Snowboarding, it ain't no joke. Learning to snowboard is a fucking gauntlet. I'll say that much. But Ehren does pretty good here. I gotta say, on a snowboard, I'm impressed with his skill. He's not even binded in, and he's staying on that thing pretty good. So you got to give him
credit. Me a while to realize that like this is legitimately surfing. Like it isn't a snowboard. You know, I thought maybe he'd like be pretending to surf or whatever, but no, he is on a surfboard. Like you said, he's not binded in, and he does pretty well. Like this is. I don't have another word to describe this one. It's pretty rad, and I don't really say rad very often, but I know that it works here.
That's so funny because in my notes, I literally have. We kind of look at him like in a goofy thing, but he was probably the raddest dude in the snowboard town.
Hands down.
I can't believe I said that, and you said it too.
I know we're pretty lame. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, did you guys feel seeing Ehren here accomplishing something on Jackass? Did that just make you feel good after watching Jackass forever? Because it made me feel pretty good. I don't know.
100%, Jay. You're so right. I have always look. I don't want to pretend like I didn't respect Ehren McGhehey when I used to watch Jackass, but especially after this last movie, like he's just moved up so high in my books. And knowing everything he's gone through, we brought this up 1,000 times on the podcast before about his claim to having been bullied on the set, and you can see elements of that in past episodes and some of the movies. But when you see him just own a stunt without the bullying, without him taking a hit just because they know they're going to get a laugh at it, when he does something cool, it's fucking cool, man. Like he's rad, as Chris said. He's rad.
Well, you said it first. I just,
No, you're the only one who said it, I'm pretty sure. I have editing rights on this, so I'm going to edit mine out of this.
You're so cute, both of you. What do you guys want to? You want to rate this? You two rad fucking dudes. Which one of you radical guys wants to go first?
You know what? We didn't initially plan on rating this one. It wasn't on the list, but let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it for the sake of Ehren. Let's give him this one because I think it warrants it. It was slightly shorter than I expected and a little bit less to it. There's a similar sketch that we're not going to be rating later on where Dave Englund does the full pipe, and it kind of had a similar vibe where it kind of came and went. But you know what? For what it is, I'll give this one a 7 out of 10. You know, for the sake of Ehren being Ehren, I enjoyed it.
Nice. Yeah, Chris, how about you, bud?
I was going to go 6.9 out of 10. The music's good. It's just got a good vibe to it. You don't always need something so chaotic. Sometimes you need a nice little amuse-bouche to cleanse your palate for the next sketch.
Yeah. All the crystallines in the cheese you eat in your amuse-bouche, those will get you, though, if you fall
That's
on
a good cheese. It's got the crystallines.
I know. Jay, what about you?
I had a good time, and my initial first thought of what I was going to rate it, I just looked at the spreadsheet and I saw the Preston and Phil switch bodies thing, and I just thought back to that manly handshake, and I'm like, nah, I can't give this a 6.9 out of 10. There's no way this can be better than that handshake. So I got to go 5.5 out of 10. But enjoyable, good to see Ehren winning for a change. Had fun. Man,
you did not want Jay as the teacher of your goth cowboy high school because he's a hard marker. He's a hard fucking marker.
He's definitely rating on the bell curve for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I take bribes too if you're looking for
Slip a little poo in an envelope and you get a fucking A+, baby.
Did
you hear about this chick nowadays? So you
what?
heard about the girl that was jarring farts and selling farts?
Yes.
You heard about that?
Oh, it's beautiful.
This who is this fucking girl? I just heard a thing. She's actually wiping
all
her
over
ass
the news.
after shitting and putting a little bit of shit tissue in a fucking jar and selling it online now. What
God
the fuck
damn.
is wrong with the world we live
I don't
in?
know.
People
I don't
are
know.
buying
But it's
this
kind of
shit,
great though, isn't
literally.
it? At the same time, that's
It's the American dream. It's the American dream.
you can make a
Because
living
here's the
doing
thing,
that.
Chris. You can point fingers and say the world is fucked up, but the world has always been this fucked up. Cavemen would like sell bark of their hottest cave woman's shit. They would like sail it down the river, and another cave person would grab it. I guarantee you that these desires have always existed. Now we just have a way
because
to.
they had no time to be fucked up. They had to hunt and eat and go to sleep.
Fine.
That's all they
Okay,
had
let's
time
not
to
go
do.
back to cavemen. That was a joke. Let's say the 1970s. If you wanted shit on paper, you had very few options to get it. Now you have so many, and someone can make a living off of it. I don't care. I don't need to be involved.
I just
Why are we
imagine, like,
sticking our noses into these things? Like, just let it happen
literally.
out there.
I just imagine like one of those pieces of paper at the roller rink where they cut the little tabs you rip off.
Oh, yeah. I'm just kidding. I don't know what the fuck is at a roller rink because I've
Well,
never
it's
been
the
to one.
70s, so roller rinks were everywhere,
right.
man. There's like
Right.
one on every block. They were like Starbucks.
That's
I
true.
was listening to a podcast today. It was a gaming podcast, and they had a gaming journalist on, and he was complaining about, well, I just don't have time to play the games I want because I have to play all the games they give me to review, and sometimes
Yes.
it's just so hard, And I'm just thinking like, okay, there's a generation above this guy who's like, those kids never worked a day in their life. But to him, the shit girl is like the generation he can now rag on and be like,
That's true.
she
That's
just has
very
to
true.
shit on a piece of paper and put it in a jar. I got to play all these fucking games. She doesn't.
Yeah,
she
he doesn't
never
have
worked
to
a day in
mix
her life.
concrete and hang doors all day like his grandparents did. Like he gets to play video games for a living, and now he's complaining about someone wiping shit and selling it.
So what I want to know is what comes next. Twitter at JackastPod. Let us know what comes next.
I think you just answered it, Jay. It's if this podcast gets popular enough, it's our cum in an envelope.
Well, I don't know how to transition out of that one, but here's a
Well,
stunt
listen,
that
if we're
wouldn't
wearing
make
a
you come.
diaper when we come, we can just sell the diapers.
Yeah, how about a diaper full of crawfish, Mikey? In SteveO in the crawfish diaper. I like it. Thank you. Listen, they didn't feed the crawfish for 3 days, according to the guy. So he's talking to the camera, SteveO here. He's a little bit nervous, a little bit apprehensive. He says this is going to be like the equivalent of a Pete Rose slide through thorn bushes.
Yeah.
I don't really get that one. You guys get that one?
Pete Rose is a baseball player.
Uh-huh.
And he does the slide, like the dive head
So
first.
is he playing in like the mutant baseball league where you have to slide through thorn bushes here, or like?
Oh no, Pete Rose was known
pits of fire.
The only way you could stop him was by growing thorn bushes just before home plate.
Guys,
and that was
you're missing out on the whole part about it. Pete Rose. Roses have thorns. Get it?
Every rose.
I mean,
has its.
I get it. I do get it.
I was so proud of that. I was like, man, I'm the smartest
good.
man alive.
I was so happy,
Sorry.
Chris, because I thought you were actually going to tell me something that I didn't. Like, I thought you were like, oh no, here's the thing, because Pete Rose actually did a stunt like that. He was the original member of Jackass. He slid through.
Yeah.
Here's a question I have, and this is a real thing.
Okay.
Because I noticed this. We're at a crayfish farm. And there's another thing. There's a job for everything. Some people sell shit on paper. Some people raise crayfish and sell the crayfish. But my
Some
question
people
is,
shit on crayfish and they ship those out. No,
hey,
that's
now
not
you
it.
got a Twitch channel, Jay. I think you're picking onto this.
It's probably good for wiping. You could
Do
figure it out.
people with Cajun accents love crayfish, or does eating crayfish give you a Cajun accent?
Ooh. Well, have you guys, people do say I sound a little more American than the rest of you guys, and I love me a crayfish boil.
That's because of your political beliefs, Chris. That has nothing to do with your voice.
I don't think I've ever had a crayfish.
Oh,
I wonder
it's
if
the
like
best, man.
there's some
Okay.
truth to
Captain
that.
Boil.
Maybe like you eat enough crayfish, it like fucks up your tongue or something.
Yeah.
And then you just develop an accent.
Because every time you eat a crayfish, it kind of bites your tongue. And it's like, if you ever spoken with like a cut on your tongue, it kind of go like this. Hey, you want a crayfish? I got a little bit
So-
of
Put
crayfish.
that on a cracker.
The real question is, what would it do to your junk, your penis? I mean, because that's what Stevo's doing. He's got a big plastic like diaper full of crayfish, and he is wearing the leopard print underneath, but it looks uncomfortable. Chris, what's up?
The one note I really had written down on this entire sketch was a question, genuinely, not from a sexual perspective, but from a scientific perspective. If a crayfish pinched your wiener, not your nuts, but your wiener, would you get hard? Like, would blood rush to it as like a defense to kind of like thicken it up, and then fucking you literally would have a boner? Because like, you know those times when you just can't really get hard and you just have to fucking really give it a good smacking, and then it comes right up.
Excuse me?
You guys haven't partied enough.
What
you
are
need
you
to get some feelings, some life back in there? You know,
Chris,
just give it a little fucking.
Can you
I think that only works if you have someone else do it for you. Right?
That might work,
but they're not doing it hard enough, and they're too scared.
Oh my god. Chris, does that mean that the term punching the clown actually means you're punching your dick?
Yeah, because its face looks all red, like it has red paint on it, because you just have been struggling with it for so long.
Wow. No, I have so many more questions that I'm going to have to send your way off air, Chris, because that is a realm of sexual assistance.
You know those times when you just like assume like no one does these things, but then there's the times you think everybody does actually do them?
Yeah.
I'm really shocked that I'm alone here. Now I'm kind of getting a little self-conscious.
Yeah, I would be too, Chris.
Right,
especially after you just shamed people who like shit paper. And now you're talking about punching your own dick.
That's why we have Instagram and Twitter at Jackass Pod. Give Chris some love. Let him know he's not alone.
You know what's fitting? You know what's fitting in this one is that we're not really even talking about the sketch that much, and this is one that we're going to be rating because it gets a pretty significant title card. It's Stevo showing up, but there's not a ton going on here. The best element of this one isn't Stevo's reactions, because like Stevo comes on sometimes back in this era of Jackass, and he's just so cocky. Like, deservedly so. Like, he's the man. But it becomes about his, like, cool guy persona as opposed to him being silly, and this is kind of that era. The best part about it is when the camera pans over, and you see, and this is one of my favorite things about early Jackass, you see the bystanders, and they're laughing, and they are aghast, because they've never seen anything like this before, either on TV or in person. And that doesn't exist in the world anymore. That like sheer glee at like, what the fuck am I looking at? Like all we had back then was like candid camera, where you'd put like a golf ball into a ball washing thing and you'd take it up and the ball would be gone. You're like, this is a prank. Oh, this is crazy.
And instead of a ball, it's a dude's nuts on the other side.
Like,
honestly, how did these nuts
like,
get here?
They wouldn't even be able to connect like how this is humor or something
Mikey,
like that.
This is the weirdest connection I just made. So that thing that you said about the ball washer on Candid Camera was never a Candid Camera sketch. But it's the same Uncle Dave as the one that said that should be a Candid Camera sketch, and we kind of believed. I swear to God, that's why I'm tripping out.
No,
you're absolutely right. Episodes? Yeah,
you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Uncle Dave, are these your nuts? Uncle Dave.
Did you guys have any other thoughts on this one? Do we get into the review?
No.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on what you were saying there. Is what I was kind of thinking is, this is season 3 now, and I had this kind of written down, is that Stevo looks a little more haggard. He, like you said, he has this more of like that rock star mentality where he's something a little special. Like he doesn't seem fun and playful anymore. And I think because of the extra money, the drugs are taking a little bit more of effect. And it's something I never noticed watching the show until we know now in hindsight how fucked up he actually was for a lot of these recordings. And now that you see him sober nowadays, he's funnier than he's ever been. He's goofing around. He's not taking himself too seriously. He doesn't have an arrogance or attitude. So it's that one kind of like, not that one, but it's that example that, people think they need to be fucked up to do these things or be funny. And it's actually quite the opposite. It steals away from their persona.
It's a good point. Great point.
Well, boys, I think, just like the crawfish that was digging into Stevo's crack, let's dig right into this one and give it a rating, shall we? Mikey, you want to give a rating?
Yeah, I'll start with this one. I think it was, I don't even think it was a great idea. Like sometimes I say that they missed on a good idea and just didn't capitalize on it. This one's just kind of like really a miss on all levels. I'm giving this one a 2 out of 10.
Bam, nice. I think that's fair, though. It's warranted. And I agree with what, Chris, you were kind of saying about Stevo being more apprehensive in this one, and he kind of seemed like, you look at like the poo dive off the ladder and those types of stunts, and it's like, he was a little more playful. I just kind of wonder if maybe he didn't want a crawfish diaper, and he was just a little bit upset about that. But I could have used more, like, to kind of pump this one up, maybe more jokes or something,
100%.
Something to punch it up. So I'm going pretty low, too. Probably just a 3 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I'm going with a 3 as well.
Nice. Disappointing.
Cool.
Stevo, a miss for his first big stunt of the season, eh?
Yeah, but you know what? I feel like from this point forward in this episode, it starts to kind of ramp up a little more. Here we get some more things that feel authentic. Well, not that none of it's authentic Jackass. That's a fucking stupid point. But I guess it just feels a little more like in the next one coming up, not too long after this one, you'll see things like more behind the scenes type Jackass stuff we saw in Jackass Forever, like a lot of that banter and shit. So I feel like I was enjoying the second half a little more. And it all starts with the hockey check featuring Johnny Knoxville. This was kind of, I guess, advertised as the big stunt of the episode, but there are some things about it that, compared against bigger stunts in this episode, I feel like it falls short. That being said, though, Johnny Knoxville takes some pretty fucking hard body checks on the ice out here, and you got to give him props for that. And he's willing to just get up again and get hit again, and he doesn't complain. However, this never gets on par with the stuff we've already seen, like Butterbean, the Cup Test Part 2. So I think just knowing how intense they fucking get, this one for me, it was hard to get into, but I feel like if I was in the time that this released and watching it, I'd probably think it was the coolest fucking thing. So it's a little bit of there's some confusing feelings floating around on this one for me.
You know why? I think you're right, Jay. I think it lacks the flash of a Butterbean one, but that's because when you're taking a hockey check like he is, it probably hurts more than boxing Butterbean. Because Butterbean hits you on the chin, and granted, he had I'm not taking away from boxing Butterbean, but that has its moment where it's like, Johnny's out, end of stunt, that's it. In this one, Johnny's just so tough that he's going to keep on getting back up and this and that. And at a certain point, they're like fucking Homer when he gets into boxing. Like he exhausts the other people because they keep hitting him and he just keeps on getting back up. So it doesn't give you that satisfaction of like a big ending. And I noticed a couple other things. Johnny isn't making really any funny comments. Johnny's not being the Johnny that we want, which is disappointing. You want him to be like chirping them like he was in the football stunt when he was taking the punt return. Like that was a good example. So maybe he was more hurt than we realized. Maybe he was just embarrassed that he couldn't skate. But you know what I think ultimately made the biggest difference? Where was the music? There was nothing to keep, a skate video needs music to kind of keep you amped up. This one was just like the empty sound of an arena with the occasional dun, 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 dun. So it felt like it was dragging. I bet you if you put a little bit of a track like Jay's weird ass fucking Andrew WK reference from last week, you put that on this one and all of a sudden it's a better sketch.
Or put that hit me with your best shot.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
I can't believe I was saying on a microphone. I'm gonna
Andrew WK is a saint. Yeah.
Andrew WK is a saint.
By the way, come on.
Did you guys notice the point? Did you have a favorite of the hockey players?
13, number 13.
13 is a truck. That guy is a fucking truck, dude.
That guy fucks and smashes.
Did you guys have a least favorite?
No,
I don't think so.
The first guy.
I don't remember.
I didn't catch his number, but he was just hitting. I think at the beginning, it's like with all these ones, it's like they're like, I don't know if we should do this, and then they do, and then it becomes to this frustration where you're like, man, this guy's fucking taking our shit. Like we really got to get him. 13 on his first go, just fucking cranked him.
He didn't need to prove it. Number six, the fucking Scott Conn looking guy who skates with all his might, leaves his feet. Johnny barely goes down, and then he's the guy who says to Johnny, "Only girls stay down." It's like, dude, I can recognize a diver in hockey when I see one, and number 6, Scott Conn, you are a diver. You keep your mouth shut. You're talking to Johnny Knoxville. You respect him.
All right. I didn't even recognize him specifically, but this in general, I have to believe that this just didn't translate as well to film as what actually was going on, because you don't see Johnny that hurt and how long he's taking to get up, and like you said, how little he's chirping back.
Yeah.
When I'm watching this, it looked very anticlimactic to me. I see hockey, and the hockey hits I watch in the game look bigger than this, to be completely honest, when you see a big hit from Chris Pronger or some shit like that. But it just didn't seem to do really much for me, and I just have to trust in the fact that it hurt a lot more than it looked.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people can't relate to what it feels like to take an open ice hockey hit. The ice is very hard. You have nothing to brace your fall. So I agree. I think Johnny was way more hurt, and people watching it, including ourselves, probably just couldn't envision why it hurt so much. A shot to the nuts, we can all relate to that. I can feel the pain when someone gets hit in the nuts. But a body check on the ice is you need to be reminded of how much that hurts. And it's been a long time since I've been hit on the ice.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, these guys really do give him a run for his money. They're like they're striding at full speed across the ice before every hit and just rocking them. And like at the end, you get the big finale, the 2-man body check, and he fucking flies. I did notice right after that 2-man check, though, there was something that if you listen very closely, it's like, I don't even know how I caught it, honestly. It's pretty quiet in the background, but someone says, use the force to get up. I see someone just went to Attack of the Clones in theaters.
Yeah, still on people's minds, right?
Weird.
I don't know. Do you guys want to give this one a rating?
Sure. Let's do it. All
right, Chris, why don't you start us off?
I'm just going with a 4 out of 10. Didn't really have anything for me.
4 out of 10. Yeah, that makes sense. I liked it. I feel like they missed out on a couple opportunities. That the concept of it is good. I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 10 in honor of the second number in Big Truck number 13's number kit there.
Number kit.
Yeah,
cool.
I had fun with this one. I think like
how does that fucking feel? All right.
You know what? Feels pretty good because it means that I hurt you on the last ones that I said because you've been trying to do that to me. It means I got to you.
Yeah, I'm just going to say that I agree with Mikey's statement about you don't know how much this actually hurts unless you've done it, and that adds credits. Yeah, music would have been nice. The more I think about that too, the more I realize that that would have helped, just a little something. It's not a bad sketch though, not my favorite of all time. I'm on board with you with a 4 out of 10. And,
because I think one more thing about that is we all know that it hurt more than it looked, but Jackass the point of it isn't to watch people get hurt. It's to watch creativity around the pain and the selling of the pain and all that. Like if someone gets stabbed in the back and you're watching it from the front, that's not going to make a good Jackass stunt. Just someone getting stabbed isn't going to make a good stunt.
Yeah, you want to see the knife wound, of course. You're watching it from the front.
Show me the knife wound.
It's not entertainment at all.
And do a joke while you're getting stabbed as well. We don't want to see you hurt. Come on.
So we get another quick gag of Preston getting an airport pickup. This time a gagged wee man comes out. So this is like the evolution of the first stage wee man. He now has a gag in his mouth. The taxi driver is stunned, as I think any taxi driver in that situation would be.
Well, he's seen this before. Like he took this real well, this taxi driver. He barely reacted, and that concerns me.
Third time this week. Full pipe skating up next with Dave England. This one is what I would say is like the precursor to the big, totally not CGI'd rolling tire stunt from the movie, I suppose.
Haters.
Go back to our Jackass 2 review in order for that information, yeah.
Please do. I implore you. Is that the right word? I implore you?
Yeah.
Thank you. Downhill in a big toilet paper tube on a skateboard, and he's having some trouble making it down. Poor Dave.
This one's cool. It's super creative because he calls it the full pipe, obviously in honor of the half pipe, and they're going down a hill while he's in a skateboard. So he's kind of rolling like in a mouse wheel as they go. It's like really neat. He gets some good bails. It's a creative idea. Who the fuck knows where they got this cylinder in the first place? Like where do these giant cardboard tubes come from? But one of my favorite moments was when I realized they were doing this at a golf course. It's like it just blends that like Jackass versus golfers narrative that we've had the entire franchise. I'm like, great, this is fun. But it seemed like the golfers actually were getting in on this one. Like they were enjoying it.
Yeah, and if you listen real closely, you might just hear a demo version of track 4 of Andrew WK's I Can't Wait.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if you were telling the truth on that one.
Chris, what did you think of this one?
It's just like I wanted to see it work so bad. Like I wanted to really see it make it far, and that just wasn't happening. And it's a good idea on paper. It's like one of those ones that you draw out and you just want it to work so bad, and it just didn't really seem to do so. I like the fact that it was on the golf course and you had a few onlookers. And I always give them applause for trying and even coming up with these ideas, but this one just didn't really translate for me.
Yeah, I think they needed they needed the MTV budget to step in and be like, we're going to build you a giant plastic tube so it's not like breaking around you. And I bet you he could have, like, if this were similar to like one of the early Danger Ehren stunts where he's trying to like go down the hill on the scooter, like we're going to keep doing it until you get it. Eventually, I bet you Dave England would have gotten it, and that as the payoff for this would have been good. But without that, it felt like this one just kind of came and went, and there wasn't a ton to it. That's why I didn't even have this one up for a review.
Yep. Yeah, that sounds like me when I finish. I came and I went and there wasn't a ton to it. But you know what?
We'll get to that in the last stunt of the episode.
Oh boy, will we ever. This next one feels like an editing mistake. We get a claymation version of Ehren McGhehey snow surfing, and he gets eaten by the Yeti at the bottom of the hill on Ski Free. Fucking hate that guy.
This was an ode to Ski Free. Oh yeah, you just said Ski Free. Shit.
Chris, they often say podcasting isn't about speaking, it's about listening.
Yeah, I was just doing a readjustment. My back's getting a little sore. And I just, right as he said that, I was like, I can't believe I was just so excited to bring up Ski Free, to be honest. Didn't you guys just do Ski Free on your other podcast, Mikey?
Yeah, on the Retrograde podcast, which, by the way, we did Ski Free about a month or two ago. We actually did a feed drop. So if you caught that, we had a feed drop for the Retrograde, a video game podcast, in the Jackast feed. So if you were confused as to why that showed up, we did the Jackass video game. So we figured what better way to cross-promote? We actually dropped Jackast, the movie review, Jackass Forever, in the Retrograde feed as well. So hit us up on there if you like retro video games and all those sorts of themes. It's more about the nostalgia, less about actually nerding out on games, but go check it out.
I'm more of a shit on toilet paper in a jar kind of guy myself, but
I know you are, Jay. Everybody knows you are.
This is the real highlighted stunt, this next one, in my opinion.
Man. Yeah.
Welcome back, Nigel the Hammer Hudson. It's been too long. This guy scares the shit out of me when he's talking to the camera. And this time, it's not a boxing match, boys. Ryan Dunn is going to take a step into the ring, but it's the octagon this time. It's an ultimate fighting bout against Nigel the Hammer. And Jesus Christ, man. Like, first of all, if Knoxville's wasn't dangerous enough, now they're taking the fucking gloves off. And I just cannot believe it. I got to say before you guys jump in, though, that I love how the coaches here are sincerely trying to teach Ryan Dunn how to fight, because he clearly does not know how, but they're giving him the Homer Simpson defense, which you mentioned earlier. They're basically just like, punched. I do not want you to box him. I love that. It's what'd you guys think of the training here, getting ready for the big fight?
Well, to me, just the one thing that stood out the most is this is so old that if you were to ever tell anybody of any recent times that you had Nigel the Hammer, but you also had Rampage Jackson in the same room,
Rampage Jackson,
and you're using Nigel the Hammer instead of Rampage to put bodily harm on somebody, like this must have been way before UFC blew up, because this is probably when Rampage was still in Pride fighting, but they didn't even dub him as Rampage at that point. So I think this was like very early in his career. So
he doesn't even get a title card. They don't
exactly it.
If it's blink and you miss it. I had to rewind. I literally had to look up a picture of Rampage Jackson, because I was like, there's no way that's actually him, and they didn't address the fact that Rampage Jackson is here. Mm-hmm. But to be fair, Nigel Hudson looks, like Jay said, pretty fucking scary in this. I just think it's tough to watch, because Ryan Dunn, I think this is at the time when people assumed that if you could fight, they'd have less of a chance in boxing than they would fighting, because you can just use your strength to move. So Ryan actually looks like he thinks he stands a chance. Like, he looks like he has hope. And I don't think that's a put on, because he's actually like taking the training. He's like, okay, you want me to sit here and step back, and then I'm just going to go in, and I'm like, man, you're getting one leg kick and you're fucking done. Like, and that's what happens. He gets a body shot and a leg kick, and Nigel treats this as though he's watched tape on Ryan Dunn. Like he knows exactly how to beat him. And we talked about, because Jay, you mentioned that we've seen Nigel before. It was way back in season 1, I think episode 3, Johnny Knoxville on crutches, because he broke his ankle in the river jump, the LA river jump. And he fights him, and you could tell Nigel's kind of taking it easy on him. No sense of that in this one. It's almost like Nigel was like, I got it the first time. Did I not tell you guys not to fuck with me on this? Okay, you want to come back? I'm gonna fuck you up. I'm actually gonna treat you like a fighter, and he did. And Ryan Dunn just fucking took it.
Yeah, I don't know. Stepping into that cage with him, like, that takes a lot of balls, and I think, like, you know, if you go back to the old episodes, Mikey used to give Ryan Dunn a pretty hard fucking time, and he just wasn't quite there. I think you can't deny it now. Has hit he's
here. He's here.
Stride.
Like, this is peak Ryan, man. Like, this is bold. It's really tough. Maybe he did it because he thought he actually stood a chance. And if that's the case, then it wasn't so much bravery as stupidity. But regardless, he got in there and he took a fucking shot. And I know that we had the episode where he went and he did the UFC fighting, or the mixed martial arts, or maybe it was kickboxing against the female fighter. I think that was in Jackass too.
Muay Thai.
And in that one, I thought that he kind of like, he took a hit, he felt it, and he wanted to just kind of like step away. In this one, maybe he did that as well, but he took a shot that would have knocked most people out. Like, it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
And did you notice what he was wearing, by the way?
What was he wearing?
He was wearing that yellow jumpsuit with the black stripe down the middle. Do you guys recognize where that could have been from? Okay. This was supposed to be someone saying that's what the bride wears in Kill Bill. You know, that yellow jumpsuit with the black stripe? But Kill Bill came out in 2003. That outfit was originally, and this episode came out in 2002. That outfit was actually based off of Bruce Lee's outfit from Enter the Dragon, that yellow jumpsuit with the black stripe. So he goes in there wearing Bruce Lee's outfit, which I thought was pretty neat.
Balls on this one.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, the friends don't think too highly of Dunn. Everybody behind the camera is, they're saying that he's just not going to make it. He's going to get rocked in the first round. And I mean, that's a fair assessment. I mean, he's going up against Nigel. But there is a segment where Bam's talking to the camera with his, the sideways mouth trademark thing. That
I'm about to get a hit in the goddamn mouth.
So he says, time for Bam Bam's predictions. Now, I wonder if he regrets giving himself that nickname, because I know your name is Bam, but I just, for some reason, changing it to Bam Bam just somehow seems worse, and let's not get into it. But he says prediction A is dislocated shoulder, B, broken arm, C, knocked out cold, and then for some reason he just jumps to H and then says nothing. What's H, Bam? We're never going to know.
I like it. This was good. I like that it had the build up to it, and this whole, I think this one was done very well. They also had that speed bag that they kept pranking people with, where they pull the speed bag back. They got Cossack with it. They got Dunn with it. I could have had a whole stunt just with that. That would have been good enough for me.
Dude. Well, the segment's about to wrap up after they're, scraping Ryan Dunn off the canvas there. Somebody says, you weren't thinking Ralph Macchio. That's why you lost, of course. And we get one last segment where Bam phones Johnny Knoxville. And when he picks up the phone, we're seeing Bam here. He says, Knoxville, I'm on the phone. I'm about to get punched. So, I mean, it's a good thing that he told Knoxville that he's on the phone. Otherwise, I think Knoxville would have been real confused about that whole situation. Bam, why am I hearing you? Where's your voice coming from? Bam, if you can hear me, walk towards the sound of my voice.
I didn't even think about that. That's so good.
Yeah, so he gets punched in the stomach and then falls over, and next Cossack wants to get in on the action too, so he takes a punch, but he does not fall over.
Doesn't go down, baby.
So, there you go. Insta-welt for him too. Big red mark right on his belly. And that's the end of that one, but I suppose we should jump in and give our numbers on this one. So, yeah, who wants to go first?
I'll start with this one, and I want to say just congratulations to Nigel Hudson, who started out 2 years ago as the UK Hammer, but apparently has now graduated to a world ranking of just the Hammer. So congratulations to you, Nigel. I'm going to give this one for the standing 8 count that they give Ryan Dunn. I'm giving this one an 8 out of 10.
It's much like when Hunter Hearst Helmsley became Triple H.
Yes, exactly.
Real accomplishment. Chris, go ahead, buddy.
I am going with an 8 as well. It just is an all-around good. It had a lot of dimensions. It had some fear. It had some comedy. It had some good lines. You had multiple people doing multiple things. It was just an all-around group effort, good stunt.
Awesome.
Yeah, boys. I think I'm seeing 8s because I'm going the same. 8 out of 10.
The first coveted Crazy 8s ranking. Wow, I never thought we'd see the day.
Is that a thing? We're doing that?
We are now, baby.
All right, fuck yeah.
You'd be like a good carnival director, Mikey.
What?
Thank you.
Where the fuck did that come from?
Nicest thing anyone's ever said to me.
Carnival director? Is that even a position?
Do you mean Carnival cruise ship or someone at a carnival?
No, someone at a carnival. Did you think
so? A step right up. I'm gonna guess your weight, kind of motherfucker.
Yeah, but the guy that runs the whole show and has cards and says "Ooh, this is the Crazy 8 countdown."
Okay, I can do that. I got a whole 3-ring circus I got to run. A lot of people call this podcast a 3-ring circus, so I'll take it.
Yeah, but we all know the carnival. Did you say carnival manager?
Carnival director.
Director, yeah. So we all know the position of carnival director is a total sham. It's really all the power is in the hands of the executive of amusements. So I'm just saying.
Jay would be the geek for sure.
Yeah. Hey, we get Phil Wake Up Part 2. I didn't think we'd ever get another Phil Wake Up. I mean, of course we do.
Maybe we won't, Jay. Maybe we won't.
Apparently, this is the second one, and I feel like I've seen better ones because it's Bam in the hallway with his buddy, and they open the door. Bam peeks his head in. He says, "Why is he sleeping sideways?" As if it's weird to see someone sleeping on their side. And And then from behind the door, Phil comes out and actually tackles Bam down onto the bed. A little swerve there for you.
It's awesome. I loved it. It's a trap, Bam. It's a goddamn trap.
It's a trap.
And you know what? I loved that, and they should have cut it there. But Bam did the thing that just bugs me sometimes that Bam does, and we saw it in Viva La Bam when they got stuck on the island. When he just gets petty and like, I want to have the upper hand. Like, he can't be the one being pranked ever. Where he like just starts punching Phil in the head. Like, dude, you lost. You set it up, you lost. Just let it go. It was just kind of upsetting. Which is like fine, no harm, no foul. Like, I get it, he does that all the time anyway. But like, just give Phil his day. He's never had it. Just let him be Phil. Let him have one on you.
What I want to know is, when are we going to see Phil naked? Because I think if he just ran out naked and tackled him, that would have been amazing.
We almost
no, there's nothing wrong with tackling your son.
When he did the toilet beatdown, when he's like taking a shit, he is butt naked. I don't think we got to see Wiener because his belly was probably covering it. But
yeah, he had that Peter Griffin thing where he can stand up naked and his flabs just like cover everything. Like, does he have to lift his tummy to have sex? Like, is that a thing?
Oh God, I hope so.
I hope so.
I really do.
Like a turtle coming out of its shell.
Yeah. Well, this next one is, they really did end with a splash here, boys. A creamy white splash, if you will. This is the Spermathon. Need I say more? It's pretty self-explanatory. They're off to the sperm bank, and this is a contest after all, just like the Olympics. We got to determine who is the fastest at whacking it. And apparently, you got the whole crew here. Not everybody takes part, but a good chunk of guys get in on it. I was actually surprised. I think we get 6 subjects in total. And I mean, before we even go anywhere with this, before we even talk about the events and the athletic prowess on display here, Chris, your commentary on the sperm bank nurse Stephanie, if you will.
Oh, she's hot, man. You know what? I the whole time I'm just thinking, she's came around. I haven't really seen much of her before. Somebody in the crew was like fucking her at this time, and they're like, hey, like kind of like his girlfriend or whatever, being like, hey, can you come help us out with this sketch? And I was trying to figure out who it would be, and it's got to be Pontius. He did that little like goofy thing with her at one point, you know what I mean? Like, I have a feeling if he didn't already, he was hitting that.
Do you recognize her? Because she was in Coyote Ugly.
What?
Yeah.
Who's seen Coyote Ugly?
What, you haven't seen Coyote Ugly?
No, it's a dancing movie.
What? It's a bar movie. It's great. It's fucking awesome. I don't know, but either way, her, like, I was watching this, and if she walked me over to that door and handed me that jar, it'd be over.
Competition.
I'd be over. There was something about her. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but it was working. I liked the idea. Here's the funny thing about it. As a kid, I hated this one. As a kid, I absolutely hated this one. And I don't know why.
Masturbating is yucky.
No, dude. I was probably masturbating while watching Jackass just because I wanted to save time. Like, I just had so much pent-up energy as a kid. It was like 6-7 times a day. Like, why not? I had so much free time. I think it just started to scare me. The scientification of masturbating weirded me out, and the concept of like fertility weirded me out. I don't know that I really knew that this was a thing as a kid. So when I was like, what do you mean sperm count? What does that mean? Like, these things go away. Like, it was almost like an existential crisis as a kid. So when this one came on, I just remember being like, oh, I'm not going to enjoy this, but I fucking loved it. It was really, really good.
Out of the 3 of us, who would win the speed competition? Who would win the count? And who would win the potency? Was that the 3 categories?
There was
count,
speed.
volume. Yeah, count, volume, and speed.
Is there one for distance? Can we have a measurement for distance as well?
That would have been good if you had to get it into the jar across the room. I honestly think I'd do pretty well for speed. I'm not going to lie, which I don't know is something must run in our family. It's not. I don't really want to be bragging about it, but I do pretty well for speed.
If I ate a lot of celery, the volume. Have you ever, dude? Someone told me, like, because it's like that's what like a lot of like the facial porn stars do. Like Peter North, they just eat so much celery. And it was like 5 years ago, I was at a Super Bowl party, maybe more than 5 years actually, probably 10 years. I was at a Super Bowl party and someone got a bunch of wings, and I ate so much celery. And like, got home later on that night, I was doing my post sleep jerk off, and it fucking shot and hit me in the face. It was the most despicable moment. I felt so much shame. I was like, this is what I put girls through. I'm like, I never want to do that to a human being ever again.
Did you not have any cover or anything? Like what?
What? I was just sitting on
Mikey
my back.
always wears like a full COVID plastic shield.
Yeah, he's got his gloves and his mask on. Like he's
covering your face because, like, why? I just mean, like, you don't have like some tissue or something to help.
I put like bounty sheets all along my chest, and I lay back.
Bounty sheet? Oh, like
Not
bounty, like tissue.
Yeah, like the kitchen ones.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the-
I was
the
thinking
quicker
like dryer sheets. I was like,
No,
what the
no.
fuck
And
is
you
that?
lay back so then it just goes on there, and then it's just a quick cleanup, and you're ready to go. But this, it overshot the landing strip and hit me in the face. That never happened before. And that was it was warm. That threw me off.
Well, of course it's going to be warm. It's coming from inside your body.
It's the same thing when you pee into a bottle and when you're in a car and you don't expect it to be like hot to the touch.
Let me ask you, Chris, did you punch your dick before coming this time?
No, maybe that's why. It wasn't.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
You had to beat it down a little bit. Who did you guys think was going to win this one going into it?
Win which aspect?
Well, it's a speed contest. We made up all those other ones, Chris. There's no yield. There's no distance.
Yes, there is.
There's three
yeah, there is. There's fertility and volume.
Oh, fuck me. I don't even know what I'm talking. I forgot about the fertility after all this shit.
Yeah.
You're totally right.
The speed was part of it. I thought Pontius was just going to run the table. I thought he was going to win in everything.
No, I knew maybe everything, but the speed. He seems like a sexually focused man. Like he's not someone that's like, I just want to get in and get out. Like he would be like a tender lover. You know, he would take his time with foreplay.
But here's the thing.
It's the people like me that just want to come and go. Those are the speed demons.
Come and go, baby.
No, in order, I think this is now becoming a podcast about sex and sexual health. But I think in order to be able to come fast, you also might need control. And I think you need control in order to be a lover over time, like Pontius would.
Yeah. Keep telling yourself that quick trauma, bro. I came fast because I have control. Yeah, okay. Who's ever said that before?
Yeah.
Well, if you want to come fast, then you can have the control to do so, and I bet you Pontius does. I think he could have won this if he wanted to.
The guy that went 13 fucking minutes, he was just putting on a show. He was probably sitting there chilling. Like, there's no one that's going to sit there in a room and take 13 minutes. He just wants to be the cool guy that could last long. You know that for a fact.
Well, he came out. Well, Cossack was 13 minutes, and Dimitri came out legitimately sweating, which was funny too.
I think he put water on his face. I think that was all a ruse to be like, I'm the cool guy who doesn't come fast. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I got a little.
Who's ever said that before?
I'm the cool guy who doesn't come fast.
Like, sure, yeah, you want to last longer, but I'm just saying, who's saying that? He must be a pretty radical dude, if you ask me.
Superhero.
Hey, Jay, honestly, just between you and me, based on how Chris is taking all this, I think he's said that before. I think that he wants to be like, he's really taking this personally. It's kind of worrying me out.
I didn't. Oh, by the way, I do have the secret to how you can come fast. To quote our man Tom Green, I whack off in a Ferrari so I can come fast.
Hey, there you go.
It's shameful that I know all the lyrics to that Tom Green rap album that he released.
I think there is actually one reason why some of the guys did take a long time. Just knowing the fact that there is a person that looks like Loomis exists, it would throw me off my whole fucking game plan. So him just being in the vicinity would definitely add at least 5 to 8 minutes to anybody's total.
Yeah, honestly, if you told me that there's a possibility Loomis, who is also sometimes introduced as Spike, the guy with the beard, like the hanging braided beard, if you told me that he has the capability to turn into a gas and come through the vents, I would believe you. So I would be thinking the whole time he was going to do that.
So when you say come through the vents, just given the context of the
well, he's hiding segment, up there. He's watching everybody.
But is he coming through the vents as in he's ejaculating through the ventilation system, the HVAC in the medical facility? He's like
T-1000, where like he'll get all the juice out, but then that'll become like a silver paste into which he can form himself again, and then he brings himself through the vent.
Wow, so he could technically give birth to himself if he impregnated a woman. That is something.
Did you? I gotta say though, here's a question that I have because Wee Man comes out because you got Preston goes in, he gets 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Cossack goes in 13 minutes 29 seconds. Dimitri goes in, comes out 12 minutes 35 seconds. Knoxville goes in and we'll get to that in a little bit. But Wee Man going in and coming out 6 minutes later. Already worried about the volume that he's done. Honest question. This is not meant to insult anybody. Honest question. Does Wee Man come less in terms of volume than an average-sized person?
Depends on the size of the balls, I'd say.
Could be it.
Chris? I'd say just standard half the amount.
Is that true? Maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, okay. What about Knoxville? What about Knoxville coming in like with a stunt in hand? This is so Knoxville, where he comes and turns around and he's got like this, like a magazine about bears. He's like, I've got a secret weapon. Like he's always got something. Like that's what I love about him. He always knows how to make the stunt a little bit better.
I think you might have gotten the man on the cover of that issue of Grizzly confused with the bear, but I think that was actually a man with just a really big beard.
Hang on, I can't tell if you're being serious, because bear, it means big hairy gay guy, right?
I guess. I didn't think of that.
Do they not have those in Alberta?
Mikey, school Jay real quick. School him to the different types of gays.
Well, listen, you got otters, you got bears, you got twinks, and that's just kind of your initial starter pack. That is the Bulbasaur, Charizard, and Squirtle of gays, and they can all Squirtle if treated properly, and they're all pretty hot, like Charmander, if you're into those sorts of things. But truly, you gotta familiarize yourself with these starters. And I'm not going to talk about their evolutions because that's going to get us into a whole thing.
I was just going to ask which is the one that turns into the flying dragon, but I guess we won't go there.
My favorite's definitely the bear power bottom. Those ones are really intense.
That would be Venusaur for sure. Venusaur is a power bottom, 100%.
When does the Charmander one learn a jizz thrower? Is that like level 35?
That I think it's actually level 69.
I thought that was Ditto. He just throws Ditto. He picks up Ditto and throws it.
Ditto is just a pile of spunk. That's basically what he is. Hey, when was the last time you heard someone refer to cum as spunk? How about that? Listen,
that's a good one.
The doctor comes out with the results after everybody's had their turn, right? I love that this is like GoldenEye 007 with the post-match accolades, you know? You got lowest sperm, Knoxville. Most fertile goes to Rick and Chris. And when it's all said and done, somehow Rick is the winner, I guess. Maybe his time was
because
better.
he gave the number 1 and 2 to Rick and Chris, but said Rick had like 140 something and Chris had 120 something. And it was funny because the doctor's just like, who's Rick? And then hands it to someone who's like, you give it to him. Like, this guy's full of cum. Like, I don't want to go near that. I was like, that's really funny.
It's really funny how the person that you would least probably want to reprocreate is the guy with the highest sperm count.
Well, there's two things. One, Rick of all of them is probably getting laid the least, so he's just got a stockpile up there, and he's getting kicked in the nuts the least. So
True.
Can we backpedal for a second to talk about the dynamic here? I think it's very easy to forget, and you may ask yourself, listener, why is it taking this long for some of the guys to rub one out? Is there a reason? Like, I mean, if you're really determined, it could be quicker. It could be like Chris said, maybe they just want to be the cool guy who takes long, but maybe it's the fact that we forget not everyone has a smartphone in their pocket at this point. You can't just open up Pornhub and watch something hardcore enough to get you to, to
use
shoot
your
like
imagination.
A agitated billy goat. It's like you gotta you got to use your imagination. You got to think about something. You got to take time to paint the picture. Maybe that's why Johnny Knoxville comes out and says he had such a hard time. It was like wet spaghetti in there. I mean, I don't know.
It's honestly, it would have been a major difference. I actually had to go get a fertility test once, and I had my smartphone, which was great. But like, I wanted to lean into the occasion because they had just like a stack of magazines there. And I'm like, man, when was the last time I used magazines or just photographs? And it felt like spending a week in wilderness and turning off the phone. It felt like going back to a simpler time, and I loved it. And it just changed me for the better. I was like on Walden Pond with my magazines. It was fantastic.
I was so naive back then.
I was.
Man, that is something. There's one more thing before we rate this that I do want to talk about, and I think you guys will too, because whenever Pontius is in a sketch, he's always got that goddamn charm. And he can get away with just about anything, this guy, when he's being that charming. Did you guys happen to notice that? He comes out, he's flirting a little bit with the nurse there. He knows. He knows. I love his line, I got to come to terms with my sexuality. I got to find out who I am. But there is a great moment here, and I wonder if the nurse anticipated this would happen, where when Pontius is all finished up, he just comes out naked. He didn't go in naked.
It was great.
But he comes out naked.
Well, he said when he's going in the room, he's like, I want to get naked. And I think everyone just kind of like, whatever. But of course, I think that's setting the mood. That's probably why he finished pretty high, is because he took his time. He got in there 10 minutes and 52 seconds, nothing to sniff at. In fact, don't sniff it. And then, but he comes out fully naked. What I found was a missed opportunity is as he's going in and he's like, I want to get naked. And they're like, well, the time starts as soon as you close the door. What if he didn't close the door? and just did it with the door open. That would have been the most boss move of all time.
Dude. But I do love one aspect of this that I don't know, like, were they allowed to get away with this back then? If we were watching this on TV, would they have had to put up a black bar? Because they're holding up this jar of cum and someone's looking at Pontius's and they say, yours is like chunky, and you could see the liquid in there.
That's a great point. Because, I mean, it's a body fluid. It's in a medical setting. Who knows? You'd think back then they wouldn't be able to, and now they would. But this is 2001 or so. It's surprising that they were able to show it.
Yeah, it's weird how we're able to show so much more these days, but there's certain things we have to show not at all.
Yeah.
Which seems to be like lesser down the line of some other things that are being
Isn't it also
broadcasted.
weird that, like, we've seen episodes where they had to censor out shit. They have to censor out poo, or like, because you can't have human poo. Remember that? Like that whole story? But you can show human cum? What is there's a lawyer somewhere telling them shit is okay or shit's not okay, cum is okay.
Yeah.
Like where's that balance coming? Who's making that decision?
But the good lawyer who was able to fight for their rights in this one. Well, this is technically actually the level of pre-creation or pre-cum.
Pre-creation.
Use it too.
I think they just go to like in Loki, you have the TVA, the Time Variance Authority, and there's just like a council of gods just being like, you cannot show the cum on TV. The shit is okay. Like they're like, who's making these choices? It's just really fucking weird to me.
Well, whoever's making the choices, there is a end user license agreement's worth of text to read for that one line. That's basically just, you can show the cum. It's all right.
Right.
And make sure you hit A to accept and give us your email address. And we'll send you a loot box or something. Listen, guys, I don't know where I'm going with this anymore because I think we've exhausted the cum talk for now. Let's give it a rating and call her a night, shall we?
That sounds good. I'll start off. And you know what? I'm going to give this one kind of a little special prize for most improved, because based on what I thought about it when I watched it as a kid to watching it now, this one was fantastic. It was just because it's in like a hospital setting, a sterile setting, everyone felt like they had to be really kind of like dialed down. Like they were getting away with something, like it's a sleepover and the parents have gone to sleep, so they all have to be a little bit quiet. And that just gave this a really nice vibe. It was funny. Everyone was involved. And I always like that in a stunt. No one had to get hurt. People were showing their charm and their charisma. I'm going to give this one an 8.5 out of 10.
For the same reasons you said, I'm actually going a little bit higher, though. I'm going with a 9 out of 10.
Nice. I'm totally cool with that. I accept.
I'm glad you do, fucking asshole. Like I fucking care.
I really love the creativity at play here because they really made it feel like an Olympic event, and I appreciate that. Everyone was wearing fucking sweatbands and headbands and gym clothes. Yeah, way to go the extra mile. This is what I was talking about. Sometimes when a stunt or segment needs that extra like punching up, it does like really go the extra mile. And plus everybody was just really funny in this one. So I think overall it's a 7.5, solid score.
Wow, Jay,
10,
you're like, this is the perfect sketch. 7.5 out of 10. I cannot gauge your scoring structure.
Yeah, no, I'm a hard marker. You know that.
You are, man. You are.
I mean, come on. We all know what the perfect sketch is. I don't even need to say it.
He's stern but fair. He's like the Russian police. Exactly.
All right, guys, that's another episode of Jackass. Season 3, episode 2 has come to a close. And
but wait, we forgot something last week. We forgot something last week that I think we need to bring back, which is the MVP of the episode, the most valuable player and the least valuable player from this episode. Do you guys have any thoughts on who your MVP is this time?
Shit. Anybody? I got to think about that for a sec.
Yeah, I totally forgot to do this, so I'm trying to rack my brain here.
You know what?
I'm probably going to go Pontius, to be honest, because the last one was the best one.
Okay.
He was my standout person of that, and I really did actually like the Dutch BMX quite a bit, and his charm really showed out there, and there wasn't really much else that was over the top.
I like that. No, I think that's totally fair. I think if we saw one more Danger Ehren sketch, I might have given it to him just because he got a lot out of that surfboard sketch with very little. But I'm actually going to go with Ryan Dunn on this. I think stepping into the octagon with someone.
I can accept that.
Thank you very much, Chris. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you.
Oh, I wish I could say the same.
God damn it, Jay. What about you? What about you?
Yeah, I don't appreciate him either.
Oh, fucking hell, guys. I'm trying so hard here. I just
that's not what you were asking. Okay, sorry. No, I think, Mikey, you make a good case, though. I'll agree with you anyway, because, Ryan Dunn stepping into there is, like, clearly the feat of the episode. No one else was willing to do it. And the thing is, everybody gives him shit too and says he's going to fail and it's going to be terrible. I don't see anybody else stepping in the ring with Nigel. So big props up to Ryan Dunn for manning up. And, or I don't know if you're allowed to say that anymore, but
it's sperm count. We can say manning up, I think, in this case. Okay, least valuable player. Least valuable player in this one, I'm going to lead off with it. This is an easy one. It's Stevo. Stevo, where were you, buddy? Where were you? You dropped the ball. We need more out of you.
I agree. Stevo for me as well.
You're going Stevo,
Chris? It pains
Chris?
me to say, but it's true.
It hurts more than a diaper full of crayfish to say, but Stevo, you are the LVP in my books.
I say Bam Margera for not understanding how a telephone works. That's my
okay. That's fair. That's fair. I like that one.
That's my
I like
pick.
That one.
And that is the episode. And thank you for joining us once again. It has been a delight, a fucking delight having you here.
Absolutely.
All right. And if you want to follow us, you can do it. You can do it at Jackast with a T pod at Jackast pod on Instagram and Twitter as well. And just let us know how you doing, how you liking things so far. Any feedback, any complaints for anybody,
and also just a big shout out to our social media followers who things have fucking ramped up. They've ramped up
big
quick.
Time.
Instagram especially, the reels have really done a favor for us in terms of the algorithm. It seems like Jackass is all over Instagram right now. Slew of new followers, a ton of new listeners. You guys really helped us rocket up the charts. As always, if you hear my voice now, please go to iTunes and give us a rating or review. Or if you're on Spotify, you can now rate us out of 5 stars. It helps us so much. We want to keep this momentum going. The bigger the community around this podcast is, the more we can give to you. So do your part. We're not asking for anything except for a little bit of your time to rate and review.
Yeah, and YouTube too. It literally takes 2 seconds. Even if you're watching on your TV, you could click the up button, go to the 3 dots, and give it a thumbs up. It makes a big difference.
Yep. And hey, speaking of those Spotify listens, watch out, Joe Rogan. We're coming for you.
We're coming, baby.
We're right on those coattails. We'll announce our multi-million-dollar deal on the next episode. But until then, bye. I'm Jason Wellwood.
Bye. I'm Chris Aaronworth.
Bye. I'm Mikey Aaronworth. And this has been Jackast.
Furnished by Sad Styles Productions.
Get into it!
This was a Press X for Sound audio production.